Welcome to Start Before You're Ready, the podcast that proves that you don't need to wait for the perfect moment to begin your journey towards better health and happiness. I'm your host, Kelly Young. Remember, the first step is often the hardest, but it's always worth taking. Hey guys, it's Kelly, and I am back with another episode of Start Before You're Ready. I am here with Sara Kooperman, and I'm going to tell you how I know Sara and why I wanted to have her on this podcast. She is the perfect guest for the Start Before You're Ready podcast. And then I'm going to let her go ahead and give you some more information. So I know Sara as the owner of the SCW Fitness Conference, and I have been going to SCW for I think about 10 years now. I could be wrong. But as soon as I started going to DC, I started going, and I love fitness conferences. Anybody that knows me knows that I love anything in person. I love live education. I love being around people. And Sara has so beautifully brought fitness into our area and brought all these amazing presenters. All of our KBC team members have had an opportunity to be at the conferences, and we all just love the energy and the information that we get there. And Sara has a story like everybody in the fitness industry, but I love her story because it highlights her authenticity. She is incredibly authentic and true to herself. She's confident. She believes in herself. She takes risks. She does things that other people aren't willing to do. She's a grinder. She's a hard worker. She's not afraid to get in and do the work.
Oh my God.
She lifts other people.
I feel like I need a nap right now.
Oh, no, too much? Okay. All right. But the one thing I do want to make sure to say about you, Sara, is that you absolutely lift other people up in the industry. And I just think that that is so important because this is a hard industry to be in. Anyone that's in the fitness industry knows it's a hard industry to be in. And we need cheerleaders and we need people that lift us up. And you do that so beautifully. So tell us, go ahead and I'll let you introduce yourself, Sara.
Okay. Well, I own SCW Fitness Education. It used to be Sarah's City Workout like 40 years ago. And for us, it was easier for us to call it CW because people used to write checks to pay for the conference. There was no such thing as credit cards. Like there was no fax machines when we started. We had to do mailings for every single registration. I remember getting the first fax machine when, that ream is flowing overnight all over the weekends. We'd come back Monday to sheets of paper. We'd have to run to Kinko's to get it duplicated. Isn't that crazy? But it's been a long time. And we've also launched Water in Motion, which is a pre-choreographed water exercise program, which we couldn't do during COVID. So we started SEAT, which is SEAT programming, supported exercise for ageless training. We were the first. Now everybody's copying chair training, but for these programs, we provide a video and a music app that's really easy to use because I am older and I need to be able to use it. So my students, they need to be able to use it. And we also included flashcards because what we used to do is I was also the CEO of Les Mills Midwest for 10 years. And I have to compliment you, Kelly. I really like the name of your podcast. It's like, Start Before You're Ready. And I want to encourage everybody to do that because we start things and we know we're going to change them. We know we go in and we're like, cool. Change is good. We're going to change. We started Water in Motion. We have one program. We now have 4 different programs: Original, Platinum, Strength, and Deep. I mean, you're going to change things. You're going to grow things and you're going to fail. And failure is great. It really is. You got to look at it as a learning, not a failure. Okay. Because once you make a mistake, you're like, whoa, not going to do that again. Chalk it up and change. Okay. Chalk it up and change and move on.
Chalk it up and change. That's a soundbite right there, Sara. Okay, well, you have done a lot, and I read your book, Fit for Business, and I loved it. I absolutely loved your book, start to finish. It was an incredible story, and you're funny. You're very funny in the book. You're funny in person, but the book, I was like laughing out loud. I loved hearing your journey. And I know that your journey didn't start off as a fitness professional. You started off with a love for dance. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I started with a love for dance, and then my foot grew wrong. My aunt had the same foot. My mother had the same foot. It's just, we couldn't even walk. So it was this huge bunion. So I got that fixed, and they told me you probably won't be able to dance afterwards, which I was like, what am I going to do? I can't walk, so how am I going to dance anyway? So I was like 16 years old and I got my foot operated on. And I didn't know this, but before I went to college, one of my best friends, David, had a pool. So I'd go swimming like every day in the pool, and then I would sit in the hot tub and kind of rub my foot. Well, that's physical therapy. We didn't have physical therapy, this is so embarrassing, 50 years ago. So you do the math on how old I am. And we didn't. So I was like shocked when I went to college. I could dance. I was like, whoa, I rehabbed my own foot. And so I auditioned for a chorus line, the traveling cast of a chorus line. That was 49 years ago. And the reason I did it was I was in college for 3 years in Minnesota until I finished up college in England. But I went for 3 years, and it's very artsy. There's lots of dance companies and everything. And I was like taking dance classes, and they were very expensive. You know how much they were? They were $6 a class. I was like, whoa. And, my parents I wasn't like one of these gifted kids that had everything handed to them. So I had to figure out a way to pay for these classes. So I saw this free dance class with these New York dancers for a chorus line. I'm like, well, forget it. I'm going to go. And I even forgot my tap shoes. So I had to use my dance instructor's tap shoes, and I shoved paper towels in the toes because she was 6 feet. She was even taller than me. And I auditioned. I made it all the way through till there were only 4 girls left. And I can't sing, so I didn't make the traveling because I can't sing. But I was like, this is cool. And they said, you're good. You should really try this. So the next weekend, there was an audition for an apprenticeship with this really cool little ozone dance company. And they used to perform and stuff. And I used to take their classes. I'm like, great, free classes. I'm in. I'll audition. But I made the company itself. They said, we don't want you to apprentice. You're in. And I was like, how do I do this? I had to go to school part-time, so I had to call my parents. And my dad was really cool. It was very close to him. My mom was a lunatic. So let's not even talk about my mother, who's screaming at me on the phone. And my father's like, go for it. I'm screaming at me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm doing it because I'm doing it. And I performed with the dance company, and I got a solo, and my professors came and my parents came, and literally, I did one kick leg up, and I landed right, like boom, on the stage. I did a seat spin, and I stood right back up, and I kept going. But what I realized was, I don't want to perform. That's not who I am. I had to teach because they pay you in the dance company. So I had to teach. And I'm like, I like teaching. And that's like how the conferences grew. It's like, I like presenting, and I'm on your podcast and stuff like that. I can't say I don't enjoy it. I love it. But I love taking other people's talents and putting them up front. And whenever there's a conference and we have a new presenter and they need a class, and I'm talking to Sean Carlson, our amazing program director, and I will say, Sean, take my class away. Give it to them. So I think I don't know, I get a kick out of it. I just like it.
That's awesome. That's such a great example of doing something. And that's one of the things we talk a lot about in this podcast, Sarah, is doing something, starting something, doing something, and then figuring out from there something else that maybe you didn't know that you loved teaching. So how did you end up in law school? How did that happen?
Okay, so I was in high school.
Okay.
And I'm sitting on the couch with a group of friends. And I was a really ugly teenager, really. I didn't have a great group of friends. I was very awkward. I mean, you kind of heard I had a lot of struggles with my mom. My mom had a lot of emotional issues, and I just kind of gravitated to my dad. I really believe you can choose who to follow and choose your path. You don't have to. Sometimes I just want to say to people, please get over it and move on. Just forget about it. Anyway, I'm an awkward teenager, and I'm sitting there with my group of friends, and all the guys are saying, well, I want to be a doctor, and I want to be a lawyer, and I'm going to go to business school. And the girls are sitting there. And I just crossed my arms and I said, I'm going to be a lawyer. And I was like, I didn't know what the heck a lawyer did. I was just pissed off that why do men get to do all this stuff and we don't get to? Like, 'cause I looked at my mom who struggled, who had no identity. And I'm like, I'm not going down that path. And my dad was like before recycling was popular, we used to recycle. We saved all the newspapers, and he and I would drive on the weekend an hour to put the newspapers in the recycling and drive an hour back. Like we had a nuclear free zone sign on my front lawn. Okay, I'm not kidding. This is humiliating, right? That goes over big in high school. But he was a big advocate. So I decided I was going to go to law school. And when I was in law school, I was getting fat. You know, you have that freshman 15, and I knew how to teach. And this brand new thing called aerobics was starting. And my girlfriend worked at what was called the Sporting News, which was like a sports newsletter. Okay, it was a newspaper that talked about tennis and football and baseball and hockey, and they needed models. And she said, you know, they'll pay you $800 for the day to put on a bathing suit and be in the newspaper. And I'm like, I'm in. $800? Who cares, you know? So I remember doing the Sporting News, and I was like, this fitness stuff. I like this. So I started while I was getting fat. Because you're sitting on your butt, you're studying 16 hours a day. And it was I was at WashU Law School. So the lit department was right next to the law school. So I could go walk to the lit department, and I taught a little class for about 4 other women that were in the law school, and it grew and grew. And I used a little boombox with a tape deck, and we were in the basement. And one of the teachers, people started kind of hearing about it and taking it. One of the instructors in the lit department, it was getting really crowded. So they got me a hall near the science department, which was just across the way. And I developed a little flyer and I put it up. And I used to get 45 to 50 people, 3 nights a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, cash, $3 a head. I was making like $450 a week cash. And of course, I'm declaring this to IRS. I'm sure I'm going to get arrested one day. And that's a lot of money. That was twice as much as my boyfriend was making interning for one of the professors.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
This is going to catch on, but I wanted that degree. So I finished my degree, I passed the bar, and I thought, I married the right man. He said, if you want to do this aerobics thing, do not get that law firm. I had worked for a law firm over the summer, and I loved them. And it was really good. But he said, don't do it. Try it. And he was so supportive, emotionally. And I'd saved a bit of money, and we were renting this horrible apartment in Chicago.
But you opened a studio in Chicago. I
lost all my money. It was really
But it
dumb.
must not have been a bad studio. Didn't Oprah go to it?
Oprah went to it. Desmond Graham went to it. I went to her 30th birthday party. She had the whole team of Harpo coming. I charged too little. I ran too many classes. My rent was too high. I did one training workshop in one weekend day and made more money in one day than I did the whole month. And I moved the whole studio over to Midtown Athletic Club. They had this little facility in the city at that time. Just basically gave them, taught for them and started doing workshops because I could teach people how to do low impact.
Okay, so now we're getting into Sara City, which originally was called Sara City. So the studio didn't work out, even though it sounds like it was pretty successful, but that's a hard, and you were so ahead of your time, Sara, because it sounds like it was a boutique fitness studio in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think there were a lot.
It was on the corner of State Street and Superior.
Okay.
And that's right downtown.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was right downtown. And I bought it from somebody who had failed. Well, hello, there was a reason she failed.
Well, so it was a lesson. It was a lesson. And I think it probably
is a lesson.
Puts you in a position to help I know part of what SCW does now is they target owners. And it probably puts you in a better position to help them because you know what it's like to be a brick and mortar studio owner and you know the grind of that. So I appreciate that you know that as a brick and mortar owner. How do you go from one spot hosting workshops or hosting education, fitness education, to going all over the country? How does that happen?
Okay, so I didn't have any money and I love my husband, but I married a pile of loans. He had, at least my aunt had passed away and left me money so that my undergraduate was covered and part of my law school, not the living expenses or anything, but the meat of it. My poor husband had nothing. So we had hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans. So I took out 4 credit cards. You remember the days when a dog could take out a credit card?
That's when I was in college, yes.
MasterCard, Visa, give me a Discover. I took it out and that's how I booked everything.
Wow.
And I'm like freaking out.
You're a risk taker.
And one day my husband say, you're going to do great. You're going to do great. And then the next day he's go, oh my God, are we going to be able to pay this off? And I'm like, it's going to work. It's going to work. I know it's going to work. And so Midwest Mania worked. Mm-hmm. It was great. And we made money. And it's funny. Making money is not such a sin. If there's a lot of ladies listening to this, we're givers, okay? That's who we are. And we're instructors and trainers and we're giving of ourselves and we're caring too much and we help. We're in a helping industry. There's nothing wrong with putting food on your table for your 4 children, saving money for their college. I have 4 kids and I'm still same husband 43 years later. It's paying a mortgage, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you evil. Like I have to set parameters in my business. And I know some people think, oh my God, she's so like aggressive. No, it's a business and you set it up. Okay. So what was that? Okay. So we decided Chicago. So I go to visit my girlfriend and she's the one who got me in the sporting news. And I go visit her and she'd opened a t-shirt shop in a mall in Atlanta. And she had one in St. Louis because WashU is in St. Louis. And so we went to visit her, my husband and I, and I'm looking at the t-shirt shop. And then I'm looking around and everybody's wearing tights and sweatshirts and t-shirts. And I'm like, but then it wasn't the tight tights. It was like the bell-bottom tights, right? And I'm looking around and leg warmers. And I'm like, I bet we could do a conference in Atlanta. And I looked at my husband. I said, I want to do one in Atlanta as well. I think we could really do this. And he's like, you're crazy, but okay. And we rented a van and I drove all around Georgia, this before kids, thank goodness, city to city to city, because there was no internet. I didn't have a database. I had to call the clubs. I used Yellow Pages, thank you very much. And I called the clubs and I set up all these master classes, and that's how I built the momentum. And then I did the same thing with Dallas. Atlanta worked. And so Dallas, there was a convention called THIN, THIN. And I didn't really like that name because I think it's not, I don't, like one of my best friends was one of our best aqua presenters, and she just has a different body type. She's bigger. She's just bigger. It doesn't make you unhealthy. Okay, you don't want to be obese, but they had a conference and then they stopped it and then they tried to go back and then I wanted to buy it and they didn't want to sell it. And so I did Dallas Mania. And the way I got the Mania name was we were in Chicago, my husband and I and our best friends, and there's a thing called Midnight Mania on Halstead where you go from bar to bar to bar and you drink all these different drinks. So here I am totally trashed. And Mania, I love that name. That's what we're going to call our conferences. Well, I'm a loser. So that's how we got the name Sara.
Sara, you are not a loser. You act on your thoughts. And I think that has taken you very far. And it's not just your journey, but you've opened doors for a lot of people. So you are Start Before You're Ready, girl. That is you. You need
and you fail. And you, oh my gosh, we started Dallas Mania and it failed miserably its first year. I was like, thank God I have these credit cards because I don't know how I'm going to pay this back. And we waited a year and we redid it. We found a new location. And I'm a big believer, I'm going to tell you guys this, I'm a big believer with setting a worst case scenario and a best case scenario. Okay? And of course you aim for the best, but you expect the worst. And I say, how much can I lose? How much can I lose? Can I afford to lose this and survive? And that's what I do. That's what I did.
Well, now how many Manias are there?
There's 6.
6?
We gave up California. We don't do California Mania. You know why? The hotel was just too expensive. And we could have kept it, but I would have had to shift all my expenses to the attendees or fire staff. And I'm not firing staff. We can't afford to do that. We have beautiful marketing and we have an unbelievable organization. My customer service person's been with us a decade. Program director, almost 20 years. My creative director, Sean Sendigan, who's brilliant, over 20 years. Chris Sendigan, his younger brother, another 16 years. I mean, it's crazy. My bookkeeper, almost 20 years. So I didn't want to fire any staff. I can't live without them. And so we negotiate with the hotel. We can't get it. And I can't charge people there are conventions out there that are like $999 for 3 days. And if you remember, whoa, it's $699. I'm sorry. I can't do that. Not as a group or a personal trainer. I can't do that.
No, I've always said your conferences are, well, they're easy and they're affordable, meaning like the ones I've been to, they're close to an airport, they're at an affordable hotel. That's important. That's important. Accessibility is important.
Oh my gosh, DC is $110 a night for a hotel.
Yeah.
You can have 2 beds in the room and there's this big pull-out couch.
Yep.
There's a microwave on the hall. I'm like, and these people come in with,
They're coolers. I've seen it. Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Well, yeah.
But that's who we are. I mean, heck, I got to I love my kids. I love my husband. Give me one freaking weekend away that I can afford, and it's tax deductible. Here I go, the lawyer thing. When you go to a Mania, save all your receipts because it's tax deductible because it's a profession. You pay taxes on your income as an instructor or a trainer so you can deduct your expenses. Now, I don't recommend deducting your like leotards or your tights or your shoes because that's kind of a red flag.
You logo them. That's what I've been told. Unless you brand them, you can't you can't.
But even
deduct
then,
them.
if you brand them and you're caught at a grocery store wearing it
Oh boy.
or out to dinner wearing those shoes, I'm just nervous because I'm a lawyer and they're going to audit me. So
Yeah.
I don't even deduct a home office
Okay.
because that's a red flag to the IRS, meaning, is it real? Now, post-COVID, it's gotten much more accessible.
Okay.
But I agree with you, Kelly. The logo T-shirts and tights, cool, deduct them. Your books you buy, fit for business, deductible. Your human kinetics books, deductible. Your education, all your certifications, all your convention attendances, it's deductible, which means if you're paying any type of taxes, you deduct it and it's quote unquote free. But we don't know this. I know.
Okay.
Free is good,
I love
right?
that. I love that. Okay. Let's go back to fitness because I am obsessed with this industry and what I have seen in my 30 years as a fitness professional. And you've seen even more. And I'm just curious, how do you feel about it right now, Sara? How do you feel about our industry right now?
I'm going to tell you honestly, the conferences went from we used to get 700 to 1,400 people at each event. Now we're getting 300 to 450. Dallas gets us 450. Atlanta, Chicago, about 400. And we get 350 at Florida and 300 at DC and 300 at Boston. So it's much smaller. Our certifications this year, end of 2025, they were up 35%. More people are getting certified. So I am very hopeful. And our attendance is up over 20% from last year for DC. That is significant. That's significant.
That's great. That's really great to hear.
So the certifications and the professionalism is growing. And the other thing, it kind of saddens me. It saddens me that I can get certified, and I'm going to name drop, but by ACE, AFA, NASM, I can get certified by them completely online. And they cannot include live training. They cannot because they're accredited. Do you know what that means? That means that if I train somebody and I can see the color of their skin and their sexual orientation or whatever, I could be prejudiced, so they won't be accredited.
Oh, okay.
You tell me how I'm going to teach group fitness or be a personal trainer and not get any physical training. I'm going to read a book and learn how to do it. I could be a dog. I could be completely uncoordinated. I could be mean, but if I have a good memory, I could and take a multiple choice exam, multiple choice. You can't even have it handwritten because I can look at your scribbling and not like it. I cannot like the color you used in the font. So no law school is accredited. Can't go through the NCCA accreditation process that ASAF and NASM went through. They can't because they handwrite your exam. Doctors could never be NCCA because they get trained physically and they get tested. Like, how do you operate? How do you test if someone's got dermatitis? Very interesting. So as an organization, we've been reviewed by PhDs and people with master's degrees, and those are our authors as well. But we aren't accredited. But I think that's one of the reasons people are flocking to us, because when you take one of our online courses to get certified, you get the live course free within a year, but we always give free extensions. We don't care. So you can go to a MANIA, Atlanta, Dallas, Chicago, Boston, Orlando, and of course, DC. So we offer about 16 different certifications at each MANIA.
I have 4 children as well, Sara, and my 2 youngest both did a certification at SCW because it was in person. One was with Kelly Roberts, and the other one was with Manuel.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
so I was
exactly.
like, if you guys want to go down, if this is something you want to pursue, but I want you to go in person. I want you to learn from a human. I want Kelly Roberts showing you how to pull your shoulders, but I want that. So they both were able to experience that.
And they're amazing. Like Kelly, Gail Bannister-Munn, Leslie Bender, these icons in fitness. We also do now live stream certifications, which which they have to turn their cameras on.
Yep.
And it's a full 7 to 8 hours. And it's on Zoom. And like you and I are talking, I feel much closer to you because I can see you, I can hear you, and you get that connection and I can ask questions. I'm not as intimidated by a book. Like, because we're not writers, we're not readers, we're physical fitness people. So I'm a little prejudiced. I love it.
Yeah, no, I am too. And I also think that that's what we did. When we had to, at least when I did, I had to audition. When I did Alpha back in the day, I had to go and audition and be in front of people. And I think that now we do that through whoever hires you, but there's definitely something to be said for a certification not equals necessarily a great fitness instructor or trainer or fitness professional.
That's something we added. You were asking me about the industry, the shift. Okay. We all know strength training. And I know like Les Mills Heavy, Zumba Lift. I mean, we've got these programs coming in. Heavy training is very good, but active agers like myself, you launch me into a heavy, I'm going to overdo and I'm going to injure. So the Mayo Clinic has accumulated some research, and just as long as we go to fatigue in proper form, so we could do lighter training to fatigue and still get the strength training benefits. All right? May take you a little more reps, but you can get there. And Pilates reformers, we're working with your reformer. They're actually a company out of Australia, but they have a big influence here in the USA. They're bringing reformers to our conference. Every reformer session got sold out. We have 8 reformers and we can take 24 people, 3 people to each reformer. And we've got these amazing, Amber Toole owns her own Pilates studio. So does Andrea Metcalf, Leslie Bender. They're all teaching, and it's awesome. I'm excited about that. That's
so exciting. I'm so excited that all of them are going to be there. I love that. Yeah, you attract.
Mulray's coming back. Mindy Milray's going to.
Mindy's going to be there?
Mindy's going to be there.
Oh my God.
She's in D.C. I know she's in Florida.
She lives in Costa Rica right now.
She's in Costa Rica. She's flying in, man.
Oh my God, Mindy. I love Mindy.
I know. And she does some really cool programs. She does a chair program. And I love it. And here's another thing. Okay, listen to me. I'm going to cross my arms and get all pissed off. I am so sick of organizations competing.
Yeah.
For a while there, we were all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stop the competition. I think ACE certification rocks the world.
Yep.
It is best manual you're ever going to find. Same for NASM. AEA, best aqua certification out there. Love, love, love. Mindy, I think it's called SAS, SASS. It's some standing, aging, sitting, I don't know, system, whatever. She does a chair workout. We do seat. Get over it.
Yep.
There's room for everybody.
Yep.
And let's get back that we're all in this together. HFA, the Health and Fitness Association, formerly IRSA. I think their theme is we're all in this together, or together strong, or I don't know what. All training is good. Les Mills Heavy is great. Zumba Lift is great.
100%.
But SCW is better.
Yeah. No, I hear you, Sarah, and I appreciate that because I think that we confuse people. It's confusing as it is, and there's so much out there, and our job as fitness professionals is to educate and to lead, and there's like, I'm the same way with boutique studios. Like, oh, Kelly doesn't like Orange Theory. I love Orange. If you go there, I love it. I love anything that you do. There's nothing bad. If you like it, I like it. If you do it, I like it.
It attracts a different person. And you can't, if you can't afford to go to these more expensive certifications, does that mean you shouldn't be able to teach? If I can't afford to shop at Nordstrom and I got to go to Target, which I love.
Side note.
I was going to tell my little Aspen friends here. Like, not cute, right? But we've got to be able to accommodate. You don't need to charge $150 to be a personal trainer. You can charge $20 in a way suburban Kentucky. Okay, we need to get everybody healthier. And the other thing is, stop criticizing people on Ozempic or GLP-1. Let's embrace them. We have a certification on how to strength train and deal with people that are on GLP-1s. Let's get them strength training, start them very slowly, talk to them about creating habits, my mother was obese. My mother was 340 pounds when she passed away, like 2 women, okay, in one horrible body. And I only wish she had something like that. And I'm not for the people that want to lose 10 pounds and then I'm going to do this. I mean, that's over the top. But we know alcoholism is a disease. Overeating is a disease and a seeking of comfort and things like that. Let's help people. Let's not criticize. Let's help them.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. And I think that's really important to say. In the conference, well, first of all, I'm presenting this year.
Yay.
And one of my team members, Amy Byer, is constructing. You're gonna be blown away by her. She's incredible. She's doing a nutrition and she's doing a kickboxing, which is very, very exciting. And we're very grateful for the opportunity, because I think you get to a stage where, especially if you've been in the industry for a long time, the desire to give back starts to surface, because you realize, hey, I can't do this forever. I've made a career of it and I've helped other people make a career of it. And I want to inspire the next generation. I know fitness conferences are tough.
Right. We've got to pay it forward.
Exactly.
And that's what we want to do. And I really appreciate you coming and presenting. And we want new programs and new people. And if you've never presented before, but let's say you've led a podcast and you've been a group fitness manager, or you're the personal training director, or you've got 3 people that work under you that you've helped train. Let's pay it forward.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, but your first presentation, I got to be honest with you, you're going to suck. The timing's not going to be right. And you're going to leave this and you're going to go, oh my God, I nailed it. And then you're going to walk into your next session and your microphone's going to break and the sound system doesn't work. And oh my gosh, I taught a kettlebell session and the whole electricity in the entire facility, the whole hotel went out. So we had to move all the curtains. That was the only way we could get light in. And we sang and we did, you know what I mean? And then next time you're going to kind of screw up and you got to suck it up, Buttercup, and move on.
Yes.
And try it again.
Yes.
And do it again. And we've seen presenters do that. We give them another chance. Because if you've got the guts and you've got the passion, it will come through. It will come through. Poor Melissa Lane. She always tells everybody this, and I hate her for doing this. But we rejected her for 8 years in a row. And she is one of our top 3 presenters at she's written 3 certifications for us. She teaches 5 different for us. She is the number 1 trainers in the entire world, and we're idiots. We rejected her for 8 years, but did Melissa give up? He got a little bit of confidence. If we had Philadelphia Mania, I had to close that one. We had California Mania, I had to close that one. Those they failed. I failed. I had LA Mania that nobody's ever heard of. You know why? I couldn't even launch it. We had 74 registrants. I had to personally call every single presenter and just tell them, I'm canceling the event. I'm really sorry. And oh my God, did I get yelled at? I booked that weekend for you. You should pay me anyway. I'm like, no, I'm not going to pay you anyway. I had a clause in the contract. I know you're going to hate me, but I'm sticking to my contract. And that's another thing. As a leader, you're going to have people kind of hate you because they want you to bend the rules.
Yeah. Well, you've brought a lot of people together, Sara. I think one of the things that you did during the pandemic that was extraordinary was you had those webinars I know they were Thursday night. I think you even did it more often at one point, but
it would be 3 times a week.
Oh my gosh.
For 6 months.
Wow.
And then we did it twice a week, and then we went to once a week, and then we went to twice a month, and then now we're at once a month.
And they're incredible. You just bring different people together, which I really appreciate. And they're very educational. I think that is a great example of how our industry can come together. I listened to one recently I think, Jonathan Ross, Christine Conti. It was an old one, and it was like about brain health. I'm like, this is solid gold. This is really, really good.
And we always did panels, and we always do panels. It's only 45 minutes because I don't think really people want to listen much longer.
Yeah, no, I know you're good about ending it too. I know you're like, okay, time's up. I'm like, oh, I need to be better about that. But yes, I think that was another example of you as a leader, Sara, during the pandemic, where some people were like, we can't do this. You're like, we can go online. We can do these free webinars that were incredibly valuable. You just continued to serve and offer and figure it out and not look for ways to say, hey, I can go sit in my chair
and listen to people. Abby Apple. Okay, we were stuck in the pandemic, and I wanted to keep the certifications. And Abby lives in Florida, and we don't even think the pandemic hit Florida. Ha ha ha. Okay. Anyway, she's like, I'm going to go. I'll do certification. She said, Sara, why don't you do it online? And I'm like, how am I going to do it online? My cinematographer won't fly because he's got 2 small kids. He's not going to fly out there. And she said, well, I've got my phone. I've got my computer. I know how to Zoom. You provide me someone in the background to do it. You do the marketing, la, 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 la. And we figured it out. And we have now 5 online events. We're going to have livestream MANIA because we closed California. Let's change. We made it live stream. We've got Active Aging Summit. We've got our Nutrition Summit, and we've got our Aqua X Summit. And we wrote our own database on how to manage this, because you can't do this on Zoom Classroom, because then the class can close the entire room. It ain't good. So we had to write our own program. Of course, I didn't. Carly, who used to work for us for years, and Sean Sennigan figured this brilliance out. Got the FITC Award, Fitness Industry Technology Council Award, which is very exciting for innovation because we built this. But it's these presenters. Jeff Howard helped with that. If you remember, Jeff used to present. And you look at this, and if you listen to people, keep that open mind, that they help. I mean, I'm a risk taker, but I got people, man.
You've created a platform where people can become presenters. You invite new people in. As you mentioned, a lot of times people are like, oh, no one knows who Kelly Young is. We're not having her. But you recognize that, hey, this person might have something to share with other fitness professionals or other people that I really, really value that. I value the way you show up. I just think that people love you for who you are. Anybody that has had a chance to cross paths with you finds, I hear the same things, like that you're just genuine and awesome. You love people. You love bringing people together. You love lifting people up. And you're an educator, which you had to find out by teaching dance, which that might have never happened hadn't you gone back to dance.
Yeah. Yeah. I love when people say, oh, I don't regret anything. And I'm like, liar. Of course you're lying. And I hate when people say, oh, do what you love and you don't work a day in your life. Oh, bite me. It's work. This morning I was up at, I don't know, 5:30 because I had a call at 6:30 because that's 8:30 on the East Coast. I'm in time. And it's work. It's work. And you just try to do it with people you enjoy. That's kind of the goal. And the hardest thing about this, the hardest thing about being a leader, and for those of you who own a business and I have empathy for you. Like I had one of my staff who I absolutely love say, oh, you got to resend me my tax information because you reimbursed me for part of my flight that blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, we've done this same system for 20 years. This is the way we do it, and you need to deduct anything you paid off of your taxes. And this is a friend, and she got really upset with me. And I'm like, you have to have a system, and I look at it like it's a boat. Okay, you're steering a boat. And if you keep letting little holes come in, like financially, little holes keep coming in, like somebody who keeps making mistakes, like they come in late to teach and they just have a breakdown during class, and you keep them around because you feel sorry for them, but members start quitting, you got to plug that hole. You've got to say, I love you, but I'm letting you go because you need to get yourself together and then come back. And you become the bad guy and I'm the bad guy, but I kept the boat going for all the other staff members, for all the other members at the club, for all my attendees at a show. It ain't easy and it is work, but it's also pretty damn fun.
Yeah.
Here's a good ending story. Kelly, you'll love this. So I'm in the bathroom. Oh, actually, it was at California Mania. I'm in the bathroom, and they didn't have a lot of staff at the hotel. Everybody was short-staffed, and I'm not pointing at that hotel, just that hotel. You remember when we came back, everybody was short-staffed because everybody was furloughed. So I'm at the conference and I had just finished teaching, and I went in and I went to the bathroom and I come back out and there's paper towels everywhere and it's water on the counter and it just doesn't look nice. When you go into, it's a nice bathroom, but it just didn't look nice. So I take the paper towels and I clean it up and I go under the sink and I picked up paper towels and I dried it off and I re-put paper towels into the little dispenser, and then somebody comes out of the bathroom and they say, oh, excuse me, we need toilet paper in there. And I said, no problem. And I went underneath and I got a roll of toilet paper and I turned around and they go, oh my God, you're Sara. And I was like, yeah, you need some toilet paper? I'm going to fix it for you. And she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing my job. You know what I mean? And so it's so fun. It's like, and then we're taking selfies in the bathroom at Mania, but no job too big, too small. That's what we got to do.
Yeah. Well, you've used the word fun a lot. And I heard you even say like the pandemic, not that obviously the seriousness of the pandemic, but as a leader, you made things that were hard fun because you had to do it anyway, right? And I think that really speaks to your resilience. And you mentioned earlier your mom, and that's obviously part of your story, and your dad being that positive ear or that positive influence and kind of cheering for you no matter what. And it sounds like you found an amazing husband that does that as well, and you do it for other people. So I think that's really beautiful, Sara. If you had to give somebody advice, maybe somebody that's on their own journey in the fitness world, what would you tell them?
Ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help, especially women. Ask for the raise, ask for the responsibility, and if you make mistakes in that new role with that new responsibility or that new project, take it as a learning, smile, and move on. And if your boss screams at you because you messed up, say, I am not going to do this again. I learned. I have the knowledge now to improve. That's what I do. I like asking for help, taking risks, and get ready to fail and do it with a smile.
That's so good. You are a great example of that. Well, this will come out Monday before Mania. And if anybody is listening to this thinking, hey, I'd love to go to a fitness conference, even if you're not a fitness professional, if you're a fitness enthusiast, or you've thought about maybe learning a new craft, or you just love nutrition, or you love recovery, Gail is going to be there. Gail is incredible. There's some absolutely incredible presenters at this conference. It's a pot of gold. If you're in the DC area, right in our backyard, you won't believe how amazing the presenters are and the quality of workshops. I highly recommend it. If you're listening from another area, there's a Mania near you. There's six right now, and there's all kinds of online learning if that's not an option for you. I also really recommend Sara's book, Fit for Business. It is a fun read. It is inspiring. It reminds you, just like Sara did today, that our screw-ups become are good things. Like these terrible things happen, and then they become our next chapter, which is a wonderful chapter. So it was such a pleasure to talk to you, Sara. I'm so grateful for your time. I'm excited to see you next week. I am local, so if you need anything, you call me. I have a big car. I can bring it. You tell me. I'm happy to help.
Okay. Thank you so much. And Kelly, thank you so much for having me. We're thrilled to have you at the conference, and I hope to see you guys there.
Yes. We're going to get some people there. You'll definitely see my team. I'm so excited. Awesome. Thanks so much, Sara. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Start Before You're Ready. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend who might need a little motivation. Ready to start your own journey? Check out our workouts and nutrition coaching programs at kellysbootcamp.net. You can choose from in-person sessions or virtual programs. Set up a complimentary coaching session to get started. Follow along with me and the show on social media at Kellys_bootcamp. Until next time, this is Kelly Young reminding you that the best time to start is always now.